Hey, y'all. Welcome to season 2 of the Reckless Optimist podcast. I'm so glad that you're here. This is a show about hope, strength, perseverance, and resilience. Let's get into it. Hey, everyone. Today on the podcast, we have Jess. Jess is my twin. She and I had so much in common. I absolutely loved this interview. She is a super inspiring person. She is a master's athlete. She is hitting PRs at 44, 45 years old, winning races. She went through a lot in 2024. She went through a really scary cancer diagnosis, and then 8 months later, a really debilitating hip injury. She shares tonight her story of how she got through all of that and how she's hitting PRs now in her 40s. I know you guys are going to love this story. Let's get into it. Hey, everyone. Help me welcome Jess to the podcast. I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank you, Megan. I'm really excited to chat with you after going through all of your posts on Instagram. I'm excited to talk about all the things and philosophies that we share in common and all of our hope and inspirational beliefs. So thank you very much. It's an honor to be here.
We were just joking before we came on that we kind of are twins. Like, we look alike. We have the same hobbies. You're in medicine too, right?
So I'm on the fundraising side of pediatrics in the hospital, and I also work with the Child Life team. For those out there who might not know what Child Life is, they are the team responsible in the hospital for making a patient and a family stay a little bit more comfortable. Anything that you ever see in a pediatric hospital related to toys, games, fun, distraction, fidgets, we are the people responsible for those things. And it's the best job to have in the hospital is to be part of that team.
Yeah. We were joking before we jumped on that you were like in a bunny costume. So now that whole story makes sense.
Yes. I could have signed on to this podcast with a full nose and whiskers painted on my face. Maybe next time we'll do that. But today you just get runner Jess. I've got my little Fleet Feet ambassador jacket on here. So always changing costumes.
I love it. Well, we're going to get started with a quote. And the quote for your episode, I actually got from you. The quote is by Guillaume Apollinaire. I probably butchered that name, but he is a French poet from the early 1900s. And you had put this on one of your pictures. I think it was the Pyramids half marathon that you did.
Correct.
So the quote goes, "Come to the edge," he said. "We can't. We're afraid," they responded. "Come to the edge," he said. "We can't. We will fall," they responded. "Come to the edge," he said. And so they came, and he pushed them, and they flew. What does that quote mean to you?
That quote means everything to me. And since I knew we were going to be talking about this, I was thinking about it throughout the day because the he in the quote isn't identified. So it's not saying, this is a greater being or a God. It's not saying it's a mentor. And so what I kind of took away from, studying this quote throughout the day, knowing we'd be discussing it, is that the he that's referred to in that quote can really be anyone. So yes, it can be a mentor, it can be a family member, a friend, and all of those people who encourage us along our path. But I also believe very strongly that the he in that quote can also be that inner voice within ourselves that is pushing us along, and we want to listen to that voice and we want to take the leap. But we also have the other voice, which says, no, don't do that. We're in a place of fear. We're scared. We're not going to take the leap. And so that's something I really love about that quote is it can be interpreted so many different ways, whatever your faith practice may be or your spiritual practice or just that internal spiritual practice that lives within all of us to take those big leaps and take those opportunities and risks in our lives. And I've been faced with those situations so many times. And I think I just proved to myself time and time again that when you do get that little push, you always fly. Leap and the net, it always appears.
Yeah. I love that. I love this so much. The quote gave me chills when I read it. It really, it landed with me too. When I hear it, what came up for me was sometimes you don't realize your own strength until someone else believes in you. And so that when I thought about that, it made me think about, the people in my life. Are they adding? Are they subtracting? Who do I have in my boardroom? Who believes in me? Do I need to maybe set some boundaries, eliminate some people from the boardroom, add new people in? That's what came up for me. And then the whole idea of, stepping out of our comfort zone, right? This whole quote, kind of summarizes how much you can grow if you stop letting the fear of failure hold you back.
Absolutely. And that's, I mean, I know you agree with me, and there's probably a lot of runners who will listen to this. Running does that. The first line is come to the edge. Running takes you to the edge. And for me, that is such a gift to be able to go to that place, as scary as it may be. Going to the edge and running has helped me go to the edge in so many other areas of my life.
Yeah. That's so well said. Well, we're super excited to hear your story. So, wherever you feel comfortable, just take us back.
Okay. So, running wise, I have always been kind of on the move. I was athletic as a child. I think my mother kind of hoped that I would be this cute little ballerina, but I had no grace. There were others along my path who hoped that I would be like a soccer player, a basketball player, but I had no hand-eye coordination. I still don't. And so I was a figure skater, and I had to drop out of figure skating because I couldn't do the dancing part of it. Every sports team I ever tried out for, I was cut from just because I wasn't good. I don't have hand-eye coordination. And so in middle school, I just said, all right, well, I'll do track. Turns out I was fast. And so, okay, I love this. I love track. I love racing. So throughout middle and high school, I was a sprinter in track. I also swam, and I was on really great teams throughout high school. Team captain, super type A, goal driven. We went to state meets, and I loved running sprints. I ran 100-meter dash, 200-meter dash, really never did much beyond that. I joke with people now, like looking back at that time, and if someone asked me to like run a 400-meter race, like to me that was long distance, and I was like, nope, I'm not doing that. Like, you people who race, you do 2 laps of this thing, like, you're nuts. And then you've got these people out there like racing a whole mile. And who are these cross country people? Like multiple miles? Like, no, I run halfway around this thing and then I stop. And back in the day of the track team, my nickname was DJ Jazzy Jess because I would bring boombox. And so it was like Notorious B.I.G., Tupac, Snoop Dogg, and we'd be warming up to this music. But it was then that I learned how much I love being a cheerleader and encouraging others because I don't have that element of shyness about me. And so before meets, I'd just be hyping everybody up. And I loved to see others succeed just as much as I loved to succeed myself. So that's kind of where that little part of me was born. I did run a little in college, and I remember a specific moment. I read the Lance Armstrong biography. At the time, it was just a really inspiring story of how he overcame cancer, and then went on to win the Tour de France. And so I stayed up late. I read this book, and I was like, gosh, I've got to move. And I went out. It was late at night. I remember this. And I went and I ran like 3 whole miles, which to me was, like I said, I was a sprinter. I never ran that far. So I ran 3 miles, and I thought, wow, like I enjoyed that. And so started running a little further, and then ran a 5K race not too long after. And I was like, I love this. And so I stayed in the 5K era for quite some time. And that was just part of my life. I remained athletic from college until now. I did yoga teacher training. I bike a lot. I hike. So I was always very active. But I didn't get into the real guts of running and distance running until 2017. That was when I said, you know what, I'm going to take this a little further and I'm going to run a half marathon. At that time, I was living out east on Cape Cod in Massachusetts on the beach, and I was just running a lot of miles because I was in a difficult place emotionally. And I found that running, it was the only thing that brought me solace. And so I just started going further and further and further. And, it was like I was running 8 miles fairly frequently and said, you know what, I can probably do a half marathon. And so the training for that was just as wonderful as it is to chase these goals now and to be competing very frequently. Nothing will ever compare to that first finish line of your distance race. And also, nothing will ever compare to that first like training block and showing yourself your resilience and your grit and feeling what it means to commit yourself to a goal like that. And so I've been on this distance running journey since then. I've done many, many, many half marathons, 10Ks, trail races, 5Ks, kind of stay in that lane. I've not done a full, much to the disappointment of my running community, who is constantly pushing me towards that goal. But I'm very comfortable and happy living in the half marathon space for now. So I mentioned I had been training for half marathons from 2017 um, till today. And I was in the midst of training in the year 2024. I really hope no one ever experiences this in the way that I did. But it was like New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. I just felt this sense of doom come over me. And it was like this dark cloud moved in, and it was this strange feeling. And thing after thing that year just started to go wrong. And before I even got into the things that were really bad, it was just like the little things were piling up, and I was having anxiety, some depression, but I was completely unaware for like the waves that were about to hit me that year. The biggest of which was being diagnosed with melanoma in multiple spots. It was a shock to me, obviously. But I said, okay, like we'll just get this taken care of and carry on. But there wasn't a carrying on. The surgeries were more extensive than I had expected. I had to defer from the races that I had planned to be in that year. I had to DNS a lot of races, and I had to stop training. One of the spots was on my abdomen, and so I just wasn't in a space to be able to move because I had had a minor / major abdominal surgery. My coping mechanism was taken away from me. That was very difficult. And then moving through that year, the waves just kept coming. And so I was quite depressed. I was full of anxiety. And by the time I could finally start running again, I thought, okay, like this will be the thing that pulls me out. And so I began to train, was feeling pretty good. And then in August of that year, I developed pain in my hip. And we're tough, right? We're women, we're runners, and we just keep on keeping on. Like, let's stretch this thing out and keep going, which I did. I ran on my injury for about a month, thinking that I had some sort of like pulled muscle. At worst, maybe it was a torn tendon, maybe. It wasn't enough to stop me, although it should have been. And it turned out to be a grade 3 femoral neck stress fracture in my femur neck. So, the ball of the femur where it sits into your hip socket, I had a fracture moving through there. And another pivotal memory was when the doctor told me that was what was going on. Came into the room, he told me that I had the stress fracture in my leg and that if I ran even like 5 more steps, that I was at risk of fully fracturing my femur and needing a hip replacement. And ooh, that was a tough one. And so I said to him, you need to leave me here with this box of Kleenex. And so he handed me the box of Kleenex and he left the room. And I sobbed like a little baby, just wailed. I was so broken emotionally. I was full of depression and anxiety. And the one thing that was giving me hope and pulling me along was running. And in that moment, it was taken from me. And I just felt like all was lost. This is the bottom of the barrel. Like, I don't know what to do. And this doctor, bless his heart, came back into the room. I think he left me for like 15 minutes just sobbing. And he came back into the room and he took my hands in his hands. And he said to me, looked me in the eye, and he said, I promise you, you will run again. And through my tears and sobs, I just shook my head. And I don't really fully believe, although it sounds very cinematic and dramatic to say that in that moment I made a choice. I think I was still too weak at that time to really say that, yes, I'm resolute and I will do this. But it wasn't long after that I did accept that. And I heard his words and I held on to them and I told myself, like, yes, you will run again. And so hobbling out of there on crutches, I had a difficult road ahead of me of rest and rehab and physical therapy. And they estimated, so that was in August, they estimated that I would run again. He said Christmas. And I said, okay, that's a great goal. And I think I was clawing at the bottom to get myself out of this hole. Something kind of woke up in me that really told me, we're actually going to fight this. And so I just threw everything I had left in me at fighting this and healing. And I said, you know what? I'm going to prove them wrong. And guess when the first time I ran was? November 1st. So I did the work. I healed. I was the best patient that PT could ever have asked for. PT also stands for like personal therapy. And I really took care of myself and really learned how to adjust my belief system in myself and to really believe that I could do it. And that was actually when my, era of Jess Do It was born on Instagram, because I thought, I want to share this with people, because when I was going through my injury and my emotional struggles, like, people who helped me along and random strangers, like, I will never forget those people. And if I can ever be that for someone else, I want to be that. And I want to honor everyone who's helped me along my path. And so that's when that whole era was born. And, since then, that really lives in me. I PR'd my half marathon after injury, at age 44. I continue to get faster, to work harder, to be stronger. And I hope anyone out there who's listening to this, who's going through an injury or a challenging time physically or emotionally, please don't give up on yourself, because if I can do it, you can do it. I promise.
Wow, girl, what an incredible, incredible story. And we are actual twins because I am also extremely uncoordinated as well. I have literally zero coordination and I am getting faster in my 40s, just like you. And I love to see it. I love to see other women just like, it's like freedom. Like we're free of these
Yes.
chains now in this decade. And you're a role model to me. I mean, PRing at 44, like that's such a huge accomplishment.
Well, we're going to PR again, and I'm older
Yes.
now. So it's the Tom Brady phenomenon. You don't have to just decline as you get older. I don't know where that came from, but you are harder, better, faster, stronger, smarter. I love being this age and challenging myself, and proving people wrong can be an unhealthy philosophy, but I like to see the positive in it, because the them is just like these societal like norms or standards that say that women over 40 need to slow down, or no, 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 no. I will prove you wrong all day,
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah. I want to do that too. Let's do it together.
Yes, we are
Yes.
doing it.
I have some follow-up questions for you.
Mhm.
You went through a lot in 2024. I mean, health diagnosis, mental health stuff, anxiety, depression, your coping mechanism was taken away. Then you have this like really debilitating injury. How did you get through that? Did you switch to a new coping mechanism? Kind of give us that take on how you got through those hard things that year.
Well, it began with the running. That was my coping mechanism. And when the running got taken away, my coping mechanism, and this is something I coach people on all of the time who are dealing with injuries or mental health struggles, it's just, Tommy Rivs. Do you know him? You have to look up his story. Write that one down. Tommy Rivs. He's a runner, trail runner. I think he'll be at Boston. He will be at Boston. He's doing a Shakeout Friday. He has this incredible story of having very, very, very rare cancer and nearly passing away multiple times. And his whole mindset is just right foot, left foot, right foot, left foot. So when my coping mechanism of running was taken away, that's what it became for me. It became very raw and simple. And for me, I learned it's like, okay, I can read all these books, I can go to therapy, I can do all of the things, but like it was just too much. And so for me to heal, I had to kind of extract a lot and just get down to literally the basics of putting one foot in front of the other again until I didn't have to think about putting one foot in front of the other. And being dedicated and devoted to healing, that became a coping mechanism in and of itself because I set goals for myself every day in physical therapy and in mental and emotional therapy. And so the healing in and of itself and the progress that I was making became the coping mechanism because I wanted so badly to get better.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is what got you better. You know, that the mental aspect when you have a physical ailment is so important, maybe just as important, getting your mind right as you're healing. I wanted to ask you November 1st, 2024, your first run back. What did that run feel like?
It felt old and new all at the same time. Um, and I remember I posted on Instagram that day and I was, pretty bold in saying, like, this is for all of you haters because I am shocked to say, like, the haters, they're always there chirping around, but haters love to come around and point blame when someone is down. I don't know if you've ever recognized that, but people like to diagnose other people. And so the amount of people who said, well, you did this to yourself. You shouldn't run. Like, running is terrible for you. Like, why are you doing this? Like, you shouldn't ever run again. Blah, 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 blah. And it was just this chirping and noise. It actually, like, was like throwing gasoline on my fire, like, "Oh, you're really gonna hate on this? Okay, well, let me show you something here." And so that day was just it was a victory for me, personally, and just, like, this victory against the negativity that exists out there for people who, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's like jealousy or insecurity. There's people out there that don't like to see others win. And I can't stand that because, like I said to you earlier during our conversation, like, I'm a cheerleader and I'm kind of known in our run community. Like, that's part of my role here. I'm, like that hockey mom who's screaming on the sidelines when my friends are running. And, like, I lose my voice. I make big signs. Like, I want nothing more than to see others succeed. So that first one run was just, it was a victory against everything that had tried to keep me down that year.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, the haters, yeah, people throw rocks at things that shine.
They do. I don't understand it. Like, I'm throwing glitter at things that shine and I want to make them shinier.
That is so funny because I'm on the same side as you. That's a Taylor Swift quote, by the way. I have another question for you. What motivates you now compared to what motivated you before your cancer diagnosis?
I share my story so that other people can connect with what I'm doing and that it might inspire them to go after a goal themselves or to choose, like we had discussed, reckless optimism. And that's not just in running, I work with pediatric patients in hospitals, and, I want to see them feeling good about themselves. I want my family, my friends, the people around me, I want them to be inspired. If someone is watching me, I want them to feel good. And so I am really inspired to do my best so that others might see that and feel good about themselves too. And so that's something that has really changed within me. And I also think that I have really adopted this. It's a decision. I have decided to choose optimism at all costs. Every run, I treat it as though I am crossing an Olympic finish line. I have fun with it and I choose to see the best in it, even when my workouts don't go well or, I'm tired or having an off day. I celebrate what I'm doing and I'm just choosing that. And it is sometimes a conscious choice, but I feel like now it's just become part of who I am. Reckless optimism has changed my life.
Same, same. I see it as a superpower. I mean, to me, I talked about this on my social media not long ago, but I've always been made fun of for my crazy optimism. But I literally see it now as a superpower. It's gotten me through some extremely hard things in my life. Yeah, I mean, we've cracked the code here, Jess. I
We
love
have
it.
we have cracked the code. So anything we can do to inspire others to like, just try this, just try it. Like, try seeing yourself in your absolute best light. It usually works and it sticks for people. And so I love that. Thank you
I
for being one of those people.
I wanted to ask you, because you were an athlete when you were younger as well. What are you doing now at 44 compared to what you did at 22? What do you think has helped you level up?
We might need another podcast for that one. So I'm not 44. I am 45 and a half. Believe that
Okay.
or not.
Okay.
I have to like check myself all the time. I'm like, I'm 40, 40, like I do not feel my age at all. But to kind of sum it up, how I've been able to perform so well at this age, I take really, really great care of my health and my well being and my mental health. I eat really well, I eat clean. I take supplements that my body needs that I've determined, through lab testing and blood draws and working with a really great doctor. And so I supplement what I need, but I don't take anything extra. Sleep for me, I could start another Instagram about sleep. I'm a sleep guru in our community. I sleep 8.5 to 10 hours every night. Sleep is the number one free recovery tool that not everyone uses properly. So I'm constantly asking people about their sleep. So important. I continue to enrich my mind through learning, reading, being outside and experiencing, really try and keep that phone on D&D all of the time and chasing goals, whether that's within running or just my personal life. I am always goal setting. I don't drink. I do drink a lot of water, but I quit drinking actually when I had my injury because I said to myself, well, if I'm going to heal this right, I need to remove anything from my life that might introduce inflammation in my body. So I said, I'll take a break. And I didn't really drink that much. So I took a little break. And then that Christmas of that year, I said, I'll have some wine. And I tried, and my body was like, no, you're not. And what no one ever really told me is that once you stop drinking maybe late 30s, it's like your body decides for you that you're done with it because it's poison. So my body made that choice for me. And I'm very grateful for that. Like my energy, everything I just listed to you, like my energy, my sleep, like everything improved exponentially when I removed that poison from my body. And that's not to say that I want to judge anyone who's out there having a glass of wine. I'm just saying that for me, it no longer works. My body doesn't tolerate it. So I think, again, with that Tom Brady philosophy and the aging, like I am so much smarter now in terms of how to take care of myself than I was at age 22. And that is what has made me a better athlete now.
Yeah, I love that. I'm like writing notes, everything that you're saying. I have,
We'll talk again about my sleep supplement stack.
yes, yes. I have two more questions before the lightning round. So the first one is if you could go back and talk to yourself on the day you were diagnosed, what would you say to that girl?
I actually just posted something about this the other day, and it was when I ran a race 2 weeks ago and I placed first in the Masters division, all women over 40. And gosh, I could like cry right now because that was the post where I said, I don't want to go back with the intent of changing things, but I want to go back so I can quietly whisper in my own ear that everything is going to work out. And so if I had had that little whisper back then, like saying like someday, you're going to be standing on a podium, first place, all women over 40 masters, like you're going to be okay. So
Yeah,
I think that would be the thing for sure.
I love that so much. Okay, last question. What is next for you? What's on your racing agenda? Give us your goals. I want to hear them.
Woo, big year. I'm racing a lot this year. Last year I decided I like trail races because like it's just a different animal because you have to be so focused and present. And it's again coming back to that right foot, left foot philosophy because you are literally just watching every step. And so like I love the meditative aspect of trail running. So doing more trail races. Right now I'm in the thick of my training block for my PR attempt in the half. That will be at the Traverse City Bayshore Half Marathon. It's a really great race in northern Michigan here. So that's going to be my big PR attempt. I'll just state it out loud because I'm all for like shouting your goals into the void. I've been chasing my white whale, which is a sub 135. But my fitness at the 15K 2 weeks ago shows that I should be far below that. And so my coach and I we're upping the ante here, and we're really going to shoot for the moon on this one. And I'm really excited about that. And then this summer, I want to work on speed. I want to run a sub 25K. At this age, I think that's an incredible accomplishment. And then in the fall, my intention is to do some pacing at some races around here, whether that's as a sanctioned pacer or just with friends or people I know in the community who want someone to kind of pull them along. I love pacing. I'm hoping to close out the year doing that.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see you crush all of those goals. I will be cheering for
Yeah.
you the whole way.
Thank you.
So we have made it to the lightning round of your show. These are
Okay.
fun, get to know you questions. People get invested in you after they hear your story.
Lightning is hard for me. I'm just going to say I'm a thinker. So this is going to be a challenge. A little lightning answer, but I'll do my best. I love a challenge.
I believe in you. So the first question is, do you have any hidden talents?
Do I have any hidden talents? Well, all of my talents live out loud. I'm a chef. I speak a couple different languages. I'm like a master landscaper. We'll stop there.
Those are good. Those are some interesting ones. I like those. Number 2, what song instantly puts you in a good mood?
My walkout song is Sandstorm by Darude.
Okay.
Do you know that one? Yes, you do. Put it on after this and you'll be like, okay, Jess.
Okay. Is it like a hype song?
It's like a club song from the late 90s, early 2000s. You'll
Okay.
know it. Sandstorm.
Okay. All right. I like it. All right. Number 3, what is the last concert you've been to?
I don't go to a lot of concerts because I can't stand crowds and people touching me.
That's okay. That's fair. I understand. And then number 4, what would be your last meal?
You're really going to ask that of an Italian. Well, my last meal before every race is thin crust pizza. So that's going to have to be on the menu for sure.
Okay, last question, kind of a heavy question. What type of legacy do you hope to leave behind?
Oh gosh. Now this is where you're going to make me cry, because ever since I was a little girl up until this present moment, something I believe very strongly in is that every single day I want to do something that makes other people's lives better. Whatever that may mean on that particular day, on that particular time, it lives inside of me. And so I want my legacy to be exactly that I was here and I was kind.
I think that's a great one. I love it. Perfect. I can't thank you enough for coming on, sharing your story. I love your energy, your optimism, your reckless optimism. We are soul sisters. We're twins. Where can people find you if they want to follow your PR attempt, your running journey, all of it?
On Instagram, I am Jess Do It 724.
Perfect. All right, girl. I can't wait to see you crush all your goals.
You too. We got to race together someday.
I would love it. I would love it. We'd be laughing the whole time.
We would. Oh, racing is serious business.
True.
It's serious business. As soon as I'm on that start line, this whole thing goes away.
It's so funny because I'm literally the same. I'm like so nice, and then I hit the start line. I'm like zoned out.
Yep. Game face.
Yes.
Locked in.
Locked in. Yes. All right, girl. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. You too.